everybody, welcome to Bones Collector. Today on Bones Collector we're continuing our series where Lori and I are playing our way through our board gaming library. So we're going to play a couple of games, 2 or 3 games each week, and make a video about it and pass it on to you, and I hope you enjoy them. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Bones Collector, and today Lori and I just got done playing Relic Runners. And Relic Runners is a Days of Wonder production, and the author of the game is Matthew Dunstan, who did Elysium and Guild of Merchant Explorers, which is a really good puzzle game that came out for 22. And what else, Matthew? Oh, Chocolate Factory. So yeah, so Matthew Dunstan's done quite a few games, and this game in particular, it was very early in his board gaming designs, and it came out in 2013. So it's rather an older game. Well, it's 10 years old now. And typical Days of Wonder production. But this particular box isn't the thickest, but it's good enough. It's a linen finish on it. Nice linen finish board. Nice pieces in the game itself. And it comes with an insert. Let's see if I can hold that up a little bit. An insert that holds everything in place. So you've got a place to put everything when you put the game away. The player boards themselves are typical Days of Wonder. It's like Yamatai. You have these, cardboard player boards that you're going to use in the game. These pieces are plastic. Your toolboxes and your pathways are plastic. Thick tokens for the temples and ruins on the board. These nice chunky pieces for player pieces. Plastic pieces for the rations. And then you got these really sweet relics that I love. These pieces are awesome. They're really nice. And then you have these cardboard tokens that are your victory points that you earn during the game. So yeah, nice production of the game. I picked this game up used at a convention I was just at for $25. I always tell you guys, and I like the production of the games from Days of Wonder. I think they do a nice job. And then I love Yamatai, and I love Quadropolis. I love Five Tribes. And now Heat is out by Days of Wonder. So they've got a really nice track record. And I decided to go ahead and get this game and play it. And like I say, we've played it 3 times now. And I really like this game for a number of reasons. And the first reason is I like it so much is that it's deceptively thinky. I mean, it's good looking on the table, and you look at it and you kind of think of these cool relics that are in the game and stuff. But you look at it and you might think, well, geez, that looks like maybe a very lightweight game. Well, that's not the case with this game. It has that appearance, but it has enough meat there to make you think. And boy, that's really a surprise in this game when we got to playing it, because you can get frustrated trying to make things happen in this game. And here's how the game works. This is a setup for a 2-player game. When the game begins, this is what you're going to look like here. Now, when you start the game out, in the other player counts, these temples and ruins will be higher with more tokens. There's only 2 temple tokens on each space, 2 ruin tokens. In a higher player count, you'd have 3 temple tokens on each space and 3 ruin tokens on each space. So there's more tokens on the board because of the higher player count. But this game was very fun at 2. I really enjoyed it. And the first thing you're going to do in this game is move. And you can move to any space from base camp here. And base camp is where you get your rations. You have to come back here to get your rations. Every space on this board that you move to, if you want to interact with that space, you have to spend a ration. You start out with 3 of them on your player board. And you're going to move around this board and interact with these different temples and ruin spaces. The ruin spaces, these tokens here, will give you the opportunity to put out a pathway token. And a pathway token is going to help you move around this board, so that once you're building your pathways like this, just like Ticket to Ride, you're going to build these pathways like this, you'd be able to move all the way over to this space, because you can use one space. It's called unexplored. One unexplored space, and then all your pathways. So you can do the unexplored space before or after your pathway. So in this instance, if I was moving from here, there's an unexplored pathway. I can move to here and then take this pathway, because it has my color of pathway tiles on it, all the way over to this purple temple and interact with that temple right there. And that's basically the way this game works, is how you're going to move around this board. However, here's the thing. You only get 10 of these pathway tokens. And there's lots of spaces here. So you're going to lay these things out as you go throughout the game. And you're going to eventually need more pathway tokens. And the only way you can do that, because you only have 10 to work with, you're just going to have to move them around the board. And there's tokens that will allow you to do that. And also on your player board, there is a tech tree on your player board that has some actions where you can move your pathway tokens around the board. And you have to do that because you run out of options, man. You're going to get frustrated in this game. First game we played, Laura got pretty frustrated because she couldn't move around. And I said, you know what? It was our first play, and I didn't know that was going to be such an issue. But that's wonderful kind of issue to have in the game, because then you have to think about passing these tokens that are on the board that are toolbox tokens, and they're all over the board. And once your path takes you past one of these toolbox tokens, you turn it over and you can move your toolbox up these tech tracks. And you have 3 of these. You start out with 1 of them down here that you can use, and then you have 2 up in reserve. Now if you get up to this space here, it says +1 on the toolbox token or +2 points. Well, you probably want to use those first ones to get another toolbox down to help you get up these tech trees, and they have different benefits on them. They're going to help you throughout the game. I won't go over all of them, but it's a necessary part of the game. And working this tech tree is the secret to doing well in this game, because again, it's route building, and you're route building on the move. So once you've finished a route that's going to help you collect relics, then you're going to have to build another route. That's just the way this game is. So you're going to have to think on the fly. A lot of people don't like games like that, but that's what the way this game is. And once you empty these temple and ruin spaces, then you're going to start putting out relics. If you're on a ruin spaces that have these tiles that you take and interact with that allow you to put out pathway tokens, you're going to put a sacred toad. Look at that, man. He's got a big emerald. It's an emerald sacred toad. And he's got a big emerald sticking out of his mouth. So that's pretty cool. And that brings me to one of the small complaints we had with this game is these green tiles should have been not the same color as the board, because you kind of, when you take these, you don't know, you can't remember which relic to put out there. It is the toad, and if this had been like maybe the same color, that bright green as the toad, I think it would have been a little more memorable as to which relic goes out there. But that's the way it works. I mean, after you get used to it, you remember. I'm sure. Yeah, it was just us messing up. And so that emerald toad goes out there. And then the other temple tiles that are out here are colored. So you have purple, blue, and white. And that is for these. Oh, I didn't mention, you have 8 of the emerald, sacred emerald toads, because you have 8 ruin spaces on the board. There's only 15 of these tiles, these ruins tiles, and there's 20 in 2-player game. Each of us have 10 pathway tiles, so there's 20 pathway tiles, only 15 of these tokens on the board. So you're kind of thinking about getting to those first and getting your pathway tiles on the board so that you can move them around. Now if you don't get that done on your player board, there is an action that allows you to put out a pathway token. You have to move your toolbox up that tech track, and that allows you to put out a pathway token. So there's ways to make things happen, but the game is designed pretty tight. It's a nice design by Matt Dunstan, and I really like him as a designer. But you're going to empty these tile spaces as you interact with them. Once you go to one of these temple spaces, you pay your rations, and then you're going to have to interact and take that tile off the board. And there's 2 tiles there, so you can't empty it on your turn the first time you go there. The second time you go there, you interact with it and you empty that purple temple, and these give you special benefits, okay? So I'm not going to go over those, but you're going to get special benefits off those tiles, and then you'll put a purple relic. Yeah, there's crystal skulls, there's bluebirds of paradise. These skulls are sweet. Look at them things, man. They're awesome. I love these pieces in this game. Purple grimacing juju.
Grimacing juju.
Yeah, so these relics, I mean, this is Indiana Jones type stuff where you're going to wander around the board collecting these relics because you get 5 points a piece for them, and that's huge in this game. But as you empty these temple spaces, you're going to put out that color of relic and then build these pathways to the different spaces, and you do what's called a relic run. And when you do that, you have to do it between two like relics. So in this particular instance, if I was here and I had a grimacing juju there, and then I had more pathway tokens that would take me to here, and I emptied this space and there was a grimacing juju there, I could do this, and actually I wouldn't even have to have that there, but then you have to start out on the space of the like relic, so you would move all the way around the board here to this space, and that's called a relic run, and I would take that relic and put it on my mat. And in a two-player game, and it says so right here on the board, once 7 relics have been captured and put on the player mats, the game ends, and the other player gets one more turn. But that's how that works. And then you get points for that. 2 points for every space. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Because you get to count that space that's unexplored. You could that unexplored space could have been at the beginning or at the end of the run.
Just not in the middle.
It's not in the middle. And base camp always breaks up any kind of scoring, any kind of path in this game. So if your path goes through base camp, every time you go to base camp, you have to stop there. You have to stop there. It's just the way it is. And there's tiles that give you scoring for the length of your path. If your path goes through base camp, you're not going to score anything on the other side of that. So that's one rule you always have to remember. But that's basically the way this game works. And man, I tell you, we had a good time playing it. It's Days of Wonder. I mean, again, we have Yamatai still in our gaming library, which we love. And we sold 5 tribes, but we loved it. We loved 5 tribes. It was a lot of fun. And the other one is Quadropolis, which is still, for my money, the best game Days of Wonder has ever done. It's just such a crunchy, beautiful puzzle. I'm in love with that game. But Days of Wonder does such a nice job that I was so curious about it. And I'm glad we picked this up. I had not really looked into it much because it was an older publication by them. 2013 is 10 years old. But if you get the opportunity, I want to tell you about it. If you see this around, or if you see this at a garage sale or a flea market or something, and you have the opportunity to get this for an inexpensive price, it's a lot of fun, folks. It's a lot of fun. It's very attractive on the board. Again, these relics are so sweet looking, and we had the best time playing it. And I'm glad we picked this up because, again, it's very similar to the other Days of Wonder games, and I enjoyed it to that level. So, yeah, I wanted to tell you about it again. We were at Escape Winter Convention, and we picked this game up there. We got this off the VFM, right?
Yes. Yeah,
we got this off the virtual flea market, and yeah, it's in tremendous shape. Looks like brand new. I got it off a guy named BJ, and a nice fella. I talked to him there and thanked him for letting me purchase this game from him, and he took very good care of it, laminated all these pieces in here, and player aids and rule books, and really took great care of the game. And those are the kinds of gamers I really like doing business with. But it's a wonderful game. I want to tell you about it today. I mean, that's a basic overview of the game. And again, you're route building in it, and you have to be able to use this tech tree to your best benefit. And once all these toolbox tokens get turned over, you turn them back over to their face up side, and you can start all over again, moving around the board and getting those because they're necessary in this game. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. But then the game we just got done playing, we had one that was down in the corner that wasn't turned over yet, and nobody wanted to go down there and get it. So it stayed there. It stayed down there, and we played the whole game with all of those toolbox tokens turned over except that one. So we were out of toolbox tokens because nobody wanted to sacrifice their turn or their time to go down there and turn that over, and that's just the way the game was. That particular game was played. But the other two we played, we did it a couple times.
We flipped them a couple
times. Flipped them over, but yeah, nobody went down there and got that one. So yeah, that's Relic Runners. I would recommend this game to anybody that likes fun games, to play, light to medium games. Because, yeah, it's a good time. You can get it done, set it up, play it, put it back in the box in 60 minutes. Those are the types of games that I really like. And if you like those types of games, you'll like this one too. So make sure you like and subscribe, you guys. I'm glad to talk to you again. Keep on board gaming. It's the best hobby on the planet. And I'll see you the next time on Bones Collector. I love every one of you. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, welcome to Bones Collector. Today, Lori and I are going to talk about Zooloretto. We just got done playing it 5 times. Zooloretto is a game that came out in 2007. It was the Spiel des Jahres winner from that year, folks. And I've been very curious about this game, and we played it at a convention one time, and then it just kind of simmered back into my brain there for a while. But I just want to tell you a little bit about the physical components of this game. It is a Kleenex box from Z-Man. There's nothing to be proud of here as far as production. I'm just going to level with you. The nicest thing in the game are these wooden trucks that you're going to use. There's 5 of them. It's a 2 to 5 player game, and this is just a cardboard insert. Again, you know, cheesy box, but that's the only problem with the game. I mean, that's the only issue with the game is the production of it. The graphic design of it, I'm not too fond of. It's a lot of green, and I think that's one of the things that turned me off about this game initially, was just the look of it. It just, you know, and I mean, whatever. But anyways, we were at a flea market, and Lori picked up a copy, so we sat down and really went through this game with a fine-tooth comb. This game came out in 2007, like I said. It's designed by Michael Schacht. Now, Michael Schacht designed a game that's already in our top 100 of all time, and that's Awari. We really like that abstract area control game. Very cool. This is 2 to 5 players, but there is a solo variant on Board Game Geek. If you happen to pick this game up, you can play it solo by using those rules. It's tile placement and set collection, and the winning condition is the most points. Now, in Zooloretto, you're going to be drafting tiles by taking these trucks from the center of the table, and it has the way you tailor this game by player count in the rule book for 2, 3, 4, 5 players. And you usually have one of these for each player, but in a 2-player game, you're going to have 3 of them, and only one of them will have 3 slots open. The other ones, as you see, will have some slots blocked. And Lori made those cardboard pieces with the X's on them to put on these trucks to help us play this game. And I like the way she did that. That's really nice. Normally you just take one of these tiles and flip it over upside down so that it's face down, and that would be the blockers that you would use. But yeah, that's pretty cool that she made those. That works out well for us. You're going to have a player board to start the game, and you're going to have 2 board extensions that you are able to add if you have the money to do so. You start out with 2 coins, you have a little player aid, and it tells you all your money actions that you can take. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different actions you can take by paying. So you need to be aware of those because they are important in this game. And this is a tight economy game. This whole game, you're just not going to have the coins you need to do things you want. So you're going to have to be very selective about when and what actions you choose on these money actions, because there's only 3 ways to get coins in this game. One of them is when you draw a tile out of this bag that has a coin on it, a picture of a coin, it's going, and it looks like that. That will go on the truck, so you can say, oh, there's a coin there, I need a coin. You know, that makes you want to take that. But that's one way to get coins. The other way is to complete one of these enclosures on your board here, where it has a picture of coins, and there's one coin each on your extensions also. So once you complete those enclosures, you get 2 coins for completing that one, 1 coin for completing that one, and none for this one. The only other way you can get a coin in this game is if you, in your barn, which are where you place tiles that you can't use, you're going to put them in the barn, and they're minus 2 points at the end of the game, by the way. But if you put them in your barn and another player sees them, and it's something they need, then they can purchase that for 2 coins by giving 1 to the bank and 1 to the player where they're purchasing the coin from. And that plays into the strategy in this game, because you may want to take one of these trucks with a tile on it that your opponent needs to complete an enclosure, even though it will force you to put it in the barn, and then they'll look over in your barn and say, you know what, I want to buy that. I want to buy that coin. It'll complete my enclosure. There, what a good cat. Yeah. So they're...
I'm going to move it so they can see him. Oh, you can't see him because the bookcase is the same color, but there you go. He's there.
I got my buddy. Showed up for he only gets up on the table when we're doing videos. Yeah. Any other time, no, he doesn't get up here.
That's true.
I think he's a ham. He loves the camera. So Toothless likes to visit when I'm doing a video. And so anyways, yeah, money is very tight in this game. And gosh, it's so much to think about in this game. I'm so really ashamed that I've taken so long to get around to this game. And because it's excellent. This game is absolutely excellent. It's a tight economy in every way in this game. I mean, you're not going to have any kind of riches in this game, and I think, I looked on Board Game Geek and they have it rated at 6.8, and you talk about missing the mark. I think people actually played this game, and I saw one comment a person wrote that said, never played a 2-player, it's no good. I ask myself when I hear that comment, did they actually play the game by the rules? Because there's just no way you could play this game at 2-player and say that it's not excellent. It is excellent. It's very crunchy, very thinky. So many decisions to be made. There's a push your luck element to this game that's just a lot of fun. Your turn doesn't end. You take one of these trucks, and so how many tiles do you want to? How many tiles do you want to see? Come, I told you he loves the camera. Before you decide, I want that truck, because I want those tiles for my little zoo here that I'm of animals. Come on now.
He's just helping.
Yeah, okay. Well, get out of here. He starts tipping stuff over, then I'm gonna have a mess. Okay, so anyways, we bought this game used for 20 bucks. I always tell you guys that when I do it. We bought this at a flea market for $20. I knew it was a good game because we had played it once and we enjoyed it, but I didn't really, I didn't gravitate towards it. I think because of the graphic design of it. I didn't like the way it looked. I mean, it's hard to get by. It's like Guild of Merchants, that new game. I thought it had a terrible look, but once you play the game, it's excellent. Come on, Buster. Get here, man. You're aggravating me.
He's helping.
Yeah, he's helping, all right. Get in the box there. There you go. But you're going to be taking turns drawing these tiles out of here and putting them on these trucks. So on your turn, you have an option to do 3 things, and that is, number 1, draw a tile, put it on one of these trucks, and there's a lot that goes into the decision of that by what other people are building on their player boards and their zoos, and you're going to have these animals you're going to draw out of here, and you're going to choose which truck to put them on. And again, you have 3 options here, and in order to take a truck, it has to have at least one face-up token on it. So you have a truck that has a space for 1 token, a truck that has a space for 2, and a truck that has a space for 3. But again, this is only in the 2-player game. In every other player count, I don't think there's any blockers on them, is there? Yeah, there's no blockers on these in every other player count. So you would be drawing tiles out and filling up those trucks. So you can draw a tile, that's one thing you can do. You can choose to take one of these trucks, is the second thing you can do, or you can take a money action. So you have 3 things you can choose to do on your turn. And it's a crunchy decision to make, because again, when you are drawing tiles, taking turns drawing tiles out of this bag, you have to decide where you want to put that tile, which truck you want to put it on, because of what other people are building and doing, and you have to be aware of what they're doing. So you may draw a tile out of that bag and decide, you know what, I drew a kangaroo out, but that person over there has an enclosure already full with kangaroos. They're certainly not going to take that, but I need it, so I'm going to wait. They're not going to take it, so I'm going to wait. And I'm going to gamble that the next time somebody draws something out, maybe they'll place something on that truck that I want, or maybe the next time when I draw something out, I'll draw something out and maybe draw this elephant out that has one of the fertility icons on it, and I'll put, because I need that too, I'll put that on there, and then hopefully no one will take that truck when it comes back around to me. I want those 2 tiles, and I'll take that truck. And once you take that truck, your turn is over for that round. Now players continue on. In other words, if these have not been filled up, they're going to continue to draw tiles out of this bag until they take a truck. And so they may want to keep going until they fill these up, or they may want to stop and just take one of those trucks, like I would do with that one. And that's how the round ends for you. Now, if the one person's left, they can keep going. They can keep going and filling up these spaces on the trucks, or they can take as many money actions as they want with their money actions that are listed on this tile. Now, normally, as turns go by, you could only take one of these, and that would be your turn. But if everybody's passed, you can continue to take as many of these as you want until you take a truck. Once you take a truck, your turn is over for that round. So that's something else you have to think about. It plays into the strategy of the game. It's really an excellent game. What are you doing? Okay, thank you. Depending, is sitting on. Then also you see these bags of different species here, and in a 2-player game, you have to remove a certain amount of, and I think even in a 3-player game, you remove some. The game comes with 8 or 7 species?
It comes with 8. This game came with 9 because we get lions.
Yeah.
It was a bonus species.
So yeah, you're trying to put those species in your zoo enclosures, and 1 species per enclosure is all you can do. So if you start with elephants here, it's elephants it's going to be. If you start with zebras here, zebras it's going to be, unless you take a money action, which allows you to move things on your board. And it has a cost associated with that. And that is really this game. That's the crunch of it. You're trying to fill these enclosures up with the same species without having to take things you don't need, because when they go into your barn, you can get rid of them, but it costs you $2 to discard it out of your barn and $1 to move it to a new enclosure. So once it goes in your barn, it's going to cost you to remove it. If you don't remove it, it's -2 at the end of the game for every species in the barn, including kiosks. Now kiosks I didn't mention. Okay, kiosks are things that tiles that look like this, and you can place these on these brown spaces by your zoo enclosures. And those kiosks, for each different kiosk you have on your player board, at the end of the game you get 2 points each. But they also give you a point for incomplete enclosures. In other words, if you have a kiosk there, you'll get a point. If this isn't enclosed, you'll get a point for each animal that is in it, even though it's not complete. Now if you complete the enclosure, you get the first number listed, and if you get within 1, you get the second number listed. But if you have, let's say in this enclosure here, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. If you have 4 spaces filled up, but you don't have a kiosk there, you get zilch. You have to have a kiosk there to get points for anything in that enclosure. And so those are the things you're thinking about, during this game as you're looking at those tiles. Yeah, one thing I wanted to make sure and point out to you also is when you're filling in these enclosures in your zoo board, you may draw out some of these tiles that have, I called them fertility icons, I think that's what they're called, but there's a male and a female, and once you do that in one of the enclosures, you get a baby. You get 1 baby. You can do it 1 time in each enclosure, and that is one way to speed up filling up that enclosure. And again, you got to work that into your strategy when you see those come up on those trucks. You may already have the male and you see the female come up, but it's got something on the truck that you don't really want, and you're like, oh, I don't want that. I can't place it. It's going to have to go in my barn. But hey, I see another player over there needs that 1 tile. So maybe I'll go ahead and take this. That'll finish my enclosure to give me those 8 points and 2 coins, and then hopefully they'll see that tile in my barn and buy that from me. Things like that. Now once you're done drawing tiles out of this bag, because people are choosing trucks, anything that isn't chosen, the tiles are removed from the game, so you're never replenishing this bag. And all these tiles are in here. So once you've completely drawn all the tiles out of this bag, you start drawing them off this stack that you put aside of 15 tiles. And it has a red token on top of it, and you're going to take them off of there, and that triggers the last round of the game. And then you add up everybody's points, and whoever has the most points is the winner. I mean, there's a lot of crunchy goodness in this game, didn't you think? I mean, there's a lot of great decisions to make in this game. I'm kind of sorry that it took this long for us to really get into Zooloretto.
Well, we only played it 1 time,
yeah.
And when you only play it 1 time, you're not gonna.
I mean, yeah, when you're in a convention and we sit down and read a rule book, and I don't even remember the circumstances, and we may have been ready to go to lunch and said, let's try and get this game in a half an hour. So we'll read the rule book and teach ourselves a game and play it real quick. And maybe we didn't have that good a view of it at that point. But who knows? I mean, it was a couple years ago. But we were at a flea market recently at a convention, and Lori likes this game. I mean, she loves animal games, and she wanted to play this again. So we picked it up for $20. What the heck? What do you got to lose? And brought it home, and I'm glad she did, because it's a really good game. I really enjoy it. I mean, it could use a graphic overhaul and a new box, and they could do so much to promote this game, because there's a lot of games that are out right now that aren't as good as Zooloretto. Let me tell you. Right now, I mean, I've played so many games from last year people are raving about. They're not as good as Zooloretto. Just not as good. This is a great gaming design. Yes, it's underproduced, and it is, I mean, again, the green doesn't bother Lori. So hey, in all fairness, it wouldn't bother everybody. It just bothers me. I just don't like the look of it. But it's a fantastic game design, and it's like Castles of Burgundy. It's poorly produced, the original version, but every time I play it, it's an amazing game. And that's the way I feel about this game. Every time I play it, we've played it again. We played it 4 times this morning.
We play it in half an hour.
Yeah.
And every time we play it, we played it faster.
Yeah, every time we played it, it was faster and faster. And I think the last time we played it in like 25 minutes. I like that about it too, folks. I like games like that, to sit down and make you think hard, have some good crunchy decisions to make in a small amount of time because I have other things to do. Matter of fact, we're going to take off for the optometrist and get Lori's glasses fixed. So I can't sit here and play Weather Machine. I'm just not going to do it. So these games are right up our alley. Games like Zooloretto. I wanted to tell you about it. I really enjoy it. You can buy this game with confidence. You find it used or however you come across it, and it is an outstanding game. Just wonderfully designed by Michael Schacht. Sometimes over time, games like this disappear and they're not talked about any longer, so people think, well, it must not be a good game. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. This won the Spiel des Jahres for a reason as the best board game of 2007. It wasn't a mistake. It's an outstanding game, and I'm glad that we picked it up because, again, I would be excited to pick this game off the game shelf, our board game shelf, and say, yeah, let's play that. I don't keep games in my house that don't excite me when someone wants to play them. We just get rid of them. If you're not excited to play it, if you don't go, oh yeah, let's play that, then why have it? You know, that's why you get games that are really tailor-made for you, your play style and the time frame that you want to commit to a game. And this for us is outstanding. Again, half an hour playtime. You know, that's why we like games like Cascadia and Calico and Verdant and Sagrada. You know, little puzzle games. Hey, even Quirkle and Sequence I love. You know, I love games that we can get done in 60 minutes or less and give you the opportunity to make good crunchy decisions. And so, yeah, I just want to tell you about Zooloretto. Please like the video, and when you take the time to do that, it does so much for our videos. I appreciate all of you so much. I love all of you. Thanks for watching The Old Bones Collector, and please remember to keep on board gaming because of games like Zooloretto. This is the best hobby on the planet. Have a good day. I'll see you next time on The Bones Collector, and I think that's all I wanted to say. Bye-bye.